So you've probably seen all the headlines about the insane salaries at places like Google and Meta. But what if I told you that the companies everyone's talking about, they're not even at the top of the food chain, not even close? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a hidden job market where the real money in tech is being made.
$300,000. That's the number, right? It's the one that bounces around the whole tech industry, Meta's median salary. For so many people, that number has become the gold standard for success. The absolute peak of what you can earn.
Well, here's the thing. That number, it isn't the peak. It's actually just the beginning. In the world of elite tech pay, 300 grand is just the starting line.
So, let's dive into what our source material calls the secret market. And to really get our heads around this, we need a totally new map. Think of it as a 4-tier compensation model that just completely changes how you look at the tech salary world. Okay, check this out. This chart lays it all out. Way over on the left, you've got your traditional companies. Then you see that huge leap up to what we call big tech. That's your FAANGs, your Metas, where that $300,000 number lives. But just look to the right. That third bar, that's where the real action is. We're talking about an elite group of companies where the pay can literally double what you'd see at the places we all thought were the top dogs.
And I'm not talking about a small raise here. This secret market we're talking about offers pay that is consistently 20 to 40% higher than even the biggest names in big tech. It's a whole different league.
So who are these million-dollar employers? Well, they mostly fall into two major groups. You have the old-school titans of quantitative trading, and then you have the brand-new world-changing power of elite AI startups.
All right, let's start with the group that's been setting these crazy pay standards for years, often completely under the radar of the mainstream tech scene, the quant trading firms.
Just try to wrap your head around these numbers for a second. At Jane Street, the average pay per employee was about $609,000 in a single quarter. For senior folks, the average is $1.3 million. And then there's Citadel Securities, which is on track to pay its average employee a projected $2 million for 2025. I mean, these numbers are just staggering. And get this isn't just for people with decades of experience. We are talking about jobs straight out of college. Citadel is offering new grads $400,000 in total pay for their first year. At Jane Street and Hudson River Trading, those packages are getting close to $500,000. A firm like Five Rings Capital starts new grads with a flat $300,000 salary. These are entry-level jobs that make more than most senior engineers at FAANG. Okay, now for the second huge force that's totally shaking up the salary game. The AI boom has basically created a whole new frontier for elite pay. And these top AI startups are now going head-to-head with the quant firms, and sometimes they're even paying more. And the numbers here are just as mind-blowing. A senior hire at Anthropic can make up to $690,000. But look at OpenAI. The median total pay is around $1.37 million. A senior engineer with about 10 years of experience there, they can expect to make almost $1 million a year. It's a full-on war for AI talent, and it is driving pay through the roof. Now, while quant trading and these AI labs are definitely the headliners, this trend of creating massive wealth isn't just limited to them. In some other elite tech companies, the secret sauce is really all about the explosive power of company stock. NVIDIA is the perfect example here. Okay, picture this. An employee gets a grant of stock units, RSUs, back in 2020. At the time, the stock price is just $13 a share. Fast forward to 2024, and that same stock is trading at $120. So if that employee just held onto their stock for those 4 years, that grant would now be worth about $2.7 million. That's life-changing money, made way beyond just a salary. Okay, so the numbers are just astronomical. But that kind of begs the question, right? Why? Why is the pay so incredibly high? And maybe the more important question is, what's the catch? What's the real price you pay for that kind of paycheck? Well, the biggest reason is pretty simple. Talent scarcity. There is a fierce global war going on for a very, very small pool of people who have these incredibly specialized skills. That competition has pushed tech salaries 67% higher than the rest of the workforce and has created an unbelievable 23% salary inflation year after year in this top tier.
The CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, he really put it perfectly. His logic is, if your company is already spending billions of dollars to build a new AI model, paying a top engineer $10 million to make sure that huge investment actually works, well, that's not really an expense. It's a pretty smart investment.
And that's exactly why you have to look at the whole picture, not just the base salary. Total compensation is like a pie with a bunch of different slices. You've got your base pay, your bonuses, and then you have this massive, growing slice of stock awards, which has grown 42% year over year. For a lot of people in this market, that stock is where the real, life-changing wealth is built.
But listen, this level of reward doesn't come for free. There are definitely trade-offs. A firm like Citadel, for example, is famous for its brutal work-life balance. On the other hand, a top payer like Jane Street reportedly keeps a pretty standard 9-to-6 schedule, but people say those hours are unbelievably intense. And then you've got firms like 2 Sigma, which have made a real effort to build a positive culture, even if it means they're not offering the absolute highest number on the payslip. It's a whole spectrum, and you have to figure out where you fit.
And looking ahead, this trend doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. Tech jobs now make up 8 of the top 10 highest-paying professions in the country, and it's really the AI and machine learning roles that are leading the pack in pay growth. The simple fact is, as long as it costs billions to build the next generation of AI, the salaries for the people who can actually do it are going to stay sky high.
So, with all of this on the table, what does it mean for you? It means it might be time to completely rethink what a top tech career even looks like, because the old rules, they just don't apply anymore.
If there is one thing, just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Meta's $300,000 salary isn't the finish line. In this new world, it's the middle of the pack. It's not the top of the mountain.
So here's your new career map. First, you have to know that this hidden elite tier of jobs exists, and they can pay 50 to 100% more than big tech. Second, you have to focus on total compensation, especially the stock, because that's the real story. Third, always remember that huge rewards often come with really high-pressure environments. And finally, just knowing that this market is out there is the biggest first step you can take to supercharge your own career.
But you know, at the end of the day, the choice isn't just about chasing the biggest number you can find. It's about understanding the entire landscape, the company culture, the mission, the risks, and the rewards, so you can make a smart decision about what's actually right for you.
Which really just leaves us with one last big question to think about. Is it possible that your dream job, the one that could completely change your life, is waiting for you in a market you didn't even know existed until today?